All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers. And peace and blessing and salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake and believers, the listeners who may have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. All right. And what I want to get into today, is the spirit of these Johnny, come lately prophets. All right. And this video is inspired by the last news and prophecy I was watching from the elder brother Yashawamba out of the Dallas camp. And he had a Christian on there, speaking on the mark of the beast, a Jake Christian at that, and then he makes a statement, we've been telling y'all. And I'm like, what? Nigga, because you had a few Edomites, Christians, that will get into prophecy and, go into particular things. All right. But the last thing, all right, a nigga Christian was talking about was any type of prophecy, man. Okay. The only thing nigga Christians, okay, speaking against, the Hebrew Israelites, okay, justifying, eating pork and shrimp, and all nations can be saved. Okay. That's the only thing nigga Christians, have been speaking on. Okay. So now it's this spirit, okay, where people are Salaki. It's this spirit now, because we coming into a time, all right, of prophecy, happening real time, and it's undeniable. Okay. So now you got this spirit of Johnny come lately, all right, prophets, okay, because now everyone can act like they're prophets because these prophecies are manifest, they're happening. Okay, it's to the point to where you can't deny it, and all you have to do is now, just watch and listen. Okay, what's going on? Okay, and you can feign yourself like you're a prophet because it's so obvious now. It's so in your face now. Okay, but there's only been, a few men who've been teaching the same thing. Okay, because even amongst on the camps, when it comes to the MOTB, there's been a lot of changes. Okay, Jake to the day still won't, all right, um, teach that the MOTB is the RFID microchip. Okay, but what you're going to have, because we're in the era of, podcasts, okay, people, there's their full-time job, to make content, okay, and one of the things of interest, okay, because it's only so much you can talk about, what men and women bring to the table, dating advice, okay, alpha male. It's only so much you can talk about dealing with that, okay? It gets to a point to people wanting to hear more serious matters because things are happening in real time. People are being affected by prophecy, okay? So what you're going to have, with these podcasts and, these content creators, they're going to begin to speak, okay, certain talking points that they got from the prophets. And they're going to act like they've been saying it this whole time. You even have certain Israelites, all right? They're going to flip and act like they've been teaching, okay, that the mark of the beast was the RFID microchip the whole time, okay? Especially with IUIC, brothers speak on that heavy, especially Elder Pasarium Live. You're going to have, Jake that was preaching against the RFID C-HIP being the MOTB, and they're going to flip when things are made, too obvious to deny. Okay, so just getting into, because I looked up the chat, dealing with this Johnny come lately. It said the phrase Johnny come lately is an idiom in English. It refers to a newcomer someone who has recently arrived, joined, or become involved in something often when others have been around much longer. It carries a dismissive or critical tone, suggesting the newcomer is late to the scene, trying to gain recognition in a place where others have already established themselves. Okay? And if you're not rooted, because these guys can mimic, okay, the prophets and try to act like they understand what's going on. Okay? But it's only so far, okay, an imitator can take you. You see? They're not going to be privy, okay, to the whole counsel of Yahweh Bashim Shai. They're not going to be equipped, to teach and instruct in righteousness, okay? And like I say, they are going to be able to imitate and, take certain talking points and twist it and make it world friendly, because their thing is to grab an audience, okay? So they're going to, make it seem like they just have this profound knowledge and, they're going to mix it into, the content that they already create. They're going to be the Johnny come lately, and they're going to try to explain the prophecies while they're happening in real time. Okay? Well, that's easy to do, to talk about something that's happening. But when you go into our apostles and elders, okay, the elder brothers, man, been in 15 plus years, 20, 30 plus years, okay, saying the same thing before it was a news headline, before these things were mainstream, okay? And those are the men whom the Lord was dealing with, okay? And the Lord is in the time of vindicating his prophets, okay? Because these same men, they'd be in agreement, with the MOTB, these certain content creators. Now you got nigger Christians, all right, the last one to the party of prophecy, okay, in which, they've been stalking, Hebrew Israelites for the last few years. So, of course, they're going to be hip to certain prophecies because they've been listening, trying to put pamphlets together on what question to ask and how to confound brothers. So they've been listening. So, of course, they're going to be hip to prophecy, man. Okay? So, watch and see how many of these guys pop up with this Johnny come lately spirit, okay, as if they're experts, okay, when it comes to prophecy and things that's happening, and going into the Bible and breaking it down, trying to copy brothers' format, going into videos, trying to commentate and use the Bible, okay. Expect to see a lot of that, because this is what's piquing, people's interest is the news, all right, being broken down real time, biblically, through the scriptures, okay? And it's only so long, it's only so far, all right, these guys can take you, okay? Because the spirit not dealing, you see, because they, like I say, they might agree with the MOTB being the RFIDC here, but do they agree with America being destroyed? Do they believe that, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, all right, and Israelite foreigners whom look like the other nations, okay, with their lineage goes back, to the seed of Israel on their father's side, do they believe, all right, that those people are going to be delivered in chariots, okay, when the world called UFO, you see, do they believe the throne of David is going to be established? Can they expound on those things? No, okay, so one of the main things that we're going to see, that these people are going to imitate is the prophecy concerning the MOTB. Okay, they might go into certain prophetic, they might start biting and taking certain talking points dealing with, this war. All right, this third world's war. Okay, but ultimately these guys ain't got it. You see, and we've been warned. Okay, when you go into just get these two precepts real quick. Okay, and it says, and many false prophets in Matthew 24:11, and many false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. Okay, because these guys, they're already popular, they already world friendly, you know, they already are YouTube celebrities, you know. So when they, incorporate certain, prophecies, okay, within their content, you see, many people, already look to them, as something great. Is, you know, they looked at them as, hey, they're anointed, they're charged in white, prepare for niggas like him to start speaking more prophetic, okay, and Jake to take hold, okay. So there's gonna be many people. So if it's meant for you to be deceived, well, you're gonna be deceived, and there's gonna be many, And that's why we don't marvel at things. That's why we never do nothing for the sake of numbers, okay. We do everything for the sake of edification. You see. So going back to 1 John, all right, chapter 4 and verse 1, it says, "Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirit whether they are the Most High, because many false prophets are gone out into the world." Okay, so you're gonna have many false prophets, okay, that have studied and listened and peep game, okay. And one thing we know, especially with Jake, they're hell of a actors, man. So they know how to act a part. You see, but one thing you can't fake is the spirit, all right. And the Lord has, the real prophets, all right, going full throttle, so you have something to compare to, okay. So they might sound, similar, all right, to the brothers, but then the spirit always reveal, okay, that they not authentic, okay. The spirit always, reveals that the Lord not dealing with these men, because they gonna go left somewhere, and they gonna be offended at certain talking points, because they comb through and pick and choose, you know, what can be added to their, content, okay, for the sake of gaining, and attracting, you know, an audience, okay. But a lot of things that we speak about are very offensive to this world, all right, and they shy away from that. You see, so you try the spirit by the spirit, because you can't just be right in a few points. No, you have to be right up and down, front and back. You see, you got to deal with the whole gospel, okay. So just wanted to get into that, real quick. So Lord will, you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified. Till next time, I say shalom.